coming up on Marriage Today with Jimmy and Karen.
If you marry your perfect soulmate, you're very different people. You're not alike. And so you have to listen, and I'm going to respect you with my mouth, but I'm going to respect you with my mind. And when you're talking and my eyes begin to cross, and I'm thinking, how in the world could anyone be this way? Rather than judging you and rejecting you, I'm going to believe you and believe that God made you that way. Number one inhibitor of intimacy is lack of spiritual dependence. And another way to say that is unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations set us up for failure in marriage. And Marriage on the Rock, there are several sessions in that, but especially the most important issue in marriage. If you want to go deeper in this point, it's in Marriage on the Rock. Okay, two very common expectations that people have when they get married is this: you're going to make me happy and you're going to meet my needs. Okay, and so we get married and we think, I'm going to get married and you're going to make me happy and you're going to meet my needs. Well, the first is this: your spouse cannot meet your deepest needs. Okay, you have four needs in your life that only God can meet: acceptance, identity, security, and purpose. And God meeting those needs in you is the basis of your happiness. I love Karen and I'm so happy with Karen, but I could be happy without Karen. Karen loves me and she's happy with me, but she could be happy without me because of Jesus. And if we say to another person, you're my life and I can't live without you, that is a codependent statement. And I love Karen. I don't want to live without Karen. But the point is, Jesus makes me happy, not other people. And if your happiness depends on people, then you're literally just at the whim of how people are acting that particular day. Let me say this: in the midst of people who aren't doing what I want them to do, I can still be happy because of Jesus. Acceptance, identity, security, and purpose. He accepts me for who I am. I don't have to have whiter teeth and fresher breath or six-pack abs. You know, I have washboard abs. I just have a load of towels in right now. I go. They're so precious to me, I cover them with padding. But Jesus accepts me for who I am right now. So acceptance, identity. He made me in my mother's womb, and he knows my real name. Your real name you get when you go to heaven. You'll get a white stone with your real name on it. Because the name you have right now is not your real name. When God made you in your mother's womb, he gave you a name that nobody else has. And part of the beauty of knowing God is he knows who you really are. He knows why. No person can tell you who you are. Only God can tell you who you are. So your sense of identity has to come from God if you're going to be whole and really live your life correctly. Security. Only God can make us truly secure. No army can make us truly secure. No medicine can make us truly secure. No weapon can make us truly secure, but the Spirit of God can make us truly secure. And purpose. I have a higher purpose for life than making a buck and spending it. I have a higher purpose of life than just going through another 24 hours of biological processes. I live for a king and a kingdom. And when I wake up every day, I do something that makes an eternal difference in people's lives. That's the purpose of my life. Acceptance, identity, security, and purpose. Only God can meet those needs. And it's called the principle of transference. If I don't depend on God to meet those needs, I automatically transfer the expectation of that to my spouse. I depend on God to meet my deepest needs, and I depend on God to solve my biggest problems. And I'm not going to put that expectation on you. My God is a big God, and I'm going to put faith in him. Number two inhibitor of intimacy is rejection of the inherent differences between us. And so when Karen and I got married, I just thought she's so weird because she's not like me. And we got in all these fights because we rejected each other's differences. You have different love needs. The men need the four major needs of a man. Honor is number one, sex. Number two, friendship with his wife, wants to be buddies, and domestic support. Women are not at all like that. Not that they don't have any of those needs. Number one need of a woman is security. Number two is open and honest communication. Number 3 is soft, non-sexual affection. And number 4 is leadership, not being dominated. They want their husband to be the initiator of the well-being of the home. All 4 of our major needs are different. And so when your spouse is telling you what they need from you, it's not anything that you need. It's not anything that you can relate to. The mega need of men is honor, and the mega need of women is security. They're almost complete opposites in that sense. And so if I'm going to be able to be intimate with you, it means I have to come out of my world into your world. If you could meet your own needs, you wouldn't have married me. You can't meet your own needs. You're depending on me. And if I'm going to meet your needs, it means I need to listen. I need to listen to what you're saying, and I need to believe it when you tell me you're different. Our money languages are typically different. I didn't know that there were different money languages. There are 4 different money languages, and Karen and I have different money languages, and one of the things we couldn't talk about early in our marriage was money. Money was a toxic issue for us because we had such different ways of looking at it. There are drivers. Some people see money, and to them, money just means success. Money is a symbol of success, and they use it to buy houses and cars and symbols of success. To other people, their analytics, money is security. They like to save it. They like to stack it up. The more of it they have, the more secure they feel. There are amiables, and to an amiable, money means love. And that means we have money, we can get the family together, go on vacation, share it, all that kind of stuff. And there are expressives, and to an expressive, money means acceptance. It means I can get into the right groups of people, I can, get into the right social groups to do whatever, I want to do with my life. Drivers, analytics, amiables, and expressives. Karen's an analytic, I'm an amiable. And so to Karen, money means security. And Karen is a fantastic money manager and a great saver of money. I'm an amiable, so to me, money means love. Money means, hey, let's have fun, let's bless somebody, let's whatever. And Karen's very generous, by the way. When we got married, we fought constantly about money, and she would call me a spendthrift, and I would call her a tightwad. And when she called me a spendthrift, it drove me crazy. And I said, Karen, you're the type of person you're going to die with all your money in a mattress, and nobody will like you. And she said, you won't even have a mattress. So, we're different. But let me say this. When we learned that we had a different money language and began to respect it, we make fantastic decisions together. Karen restrains me in making decisions and helps me to slow down, and I help her to have fun. And she's down here groaning when I said that, because she's very fun. Everybody knows she's very fun. I'm talking about with money. We have different giftings and talents and things like that. And so we just have a different way of seeing the world. Now here's 3 types of differences in marriage. The number 1 is rejected differences. Roll your eyes, you're crazy. I told Karen, she used to tell me when we first got married, she would say something, I'd say, you're crazy. I just thought she's out of her mind. The second is tolerated differences. And that's women. Can't live with them, can't live without them. It's not like I'm rejecting you, it's just like I'm judging you. Roll your eyes. The third is celebrated differences. And that is, we're a team. Isn't it great that we don't have the same things in our lives? Isn't it great that God spread the giftings and talents and perspectives so together we make such a fantastic team? And when Karen and I got married, we rejected each other's differences. Today, we celebrate each other's differences. And so when you reject your spouse's differences, you reject them. And the ethic that fixes this is respect. Respect. 2 ways that I respect you. One is I'm not going to talk bad about you. I'm not going to shame you and put you down for being honest about who you are. When you tell me what your needs are, it doesn't mean everything in you is right. It just means it's you. And I'm not going to run you down. I'm not going to browbeat you. I'm not going to be sarcastic with you. In fact, I'm going to praise you. One of the key the 4 indicators of divorce, the 4 predictors of divorce, number 1 predictor of divorce is negativity. When a negative tone sets up in your relationship, it is the most damaging thing that you can do to your relationship when you begin to pick on each other and begin to point out each other's faults. The number 1 thing you do to build your marriage is to praise your spouse. And when your spouse says something to you and you're trying to get it, you're trying to process it, don't say, man, that's weird. Just say, wow, that's so special. I'm going to have to meditate on that. You're like on another level. I'm trying to get there. It makes all the difference in the world. So, and I'm going to believe you. And I'm going to believe you. When you tell me, I need you to do this. This is what I need you to do. I need you to do this. I'm going to believe you. See, for years, Karen, here's what I tell people when they come see me for counseling. Your spouse has been trying to tell you for years what their needs are. You just haven't been listening. Because we have this idea that if we marry our soulmate, they're just like us. Everything's just alike. That's not true. If you marry your perfect soulmate, you're very different people. You're not alike. And so you have to listen, and I'm going to respect you with my mouth, but I'm going to respect you with my mind. And when you're talking, and my eyes begin to cross, and I'm thinking, how in the world could anyone be this way? Rather than judging you and rejecting you, I'm going to believe you and believe that God made you that way.
I hope you were blessed by that teaching. You know, we do a full seminar called Becoming One Soul, Becoming One Mind, Becoming One Flesh, Becoming One Heart, and also talking about the 7 inhibitors of intimacy and how to get those out of our marriage so we can have an intimate marriage and become one, the way the Bible says we're supposed to become. Right now, for your gift of any amount, we're asking you to support us here at Marriage Today, and we want to get this information to you, because what you saw on the program today is just a very small part of a full 5-part seminar. And right now, for your gift of any amount, we want to send you the CD single, Becoming One Soul, talking about how to become soulmates. You know, you hear everybody talking about, I want to marry my soulmate. You can become soulmates with the person you're married to. Now, if you're not married, this is fantastic information to prepare you for marriage, but we will send you the CD single, Becoming One Soul, for your gift of any amount. For your gift of $55 or more, we'll send you Becoming One CD series, the entire 5-part series, along with our One Devotional book. The One Devotional book is just a terrific marriage-building book to go through, 52 different weeks on your date night, sitting down together as a couple and just building your marriage. And for your gift of $75 or more, we'll send you the full 5-part DVD series along with the One Devotional book. This is life-changing information, and here's how you can get it.
When you get married, God is joining you heart to heart, spirit to spirit. That's what's happening there.
Experience the Becoming One series on CD or DVD and receive the One Devotional book as a free bonus. The CD series and book are yours for a gift of $55 or more. The DVD series and book for a gift of $75 or more. In this impactful series, Jimmy Evans and special guests Nancy Houston and Dr. Caroline Leaf reveal how couples can have one heart, one body, one mind, and one soul.
When you add God to your marriage becomes one in God.
When you support Marriage Today with a gift of any amount, we'll send you the CD single, Becoming One Soul.
Soulmates are not born, they're made in the trenches of life.
Discover the secrets to having a thriving relationship. Experience the joy of becoming one.
You know, it's challenging for two very different people to become one. We have different thoughts and emotions. Becoming one requires having common expectations and accepting each other's different needs and natures. Today, conference speaker and author Dr. Caroline Leaf will share how you and your spouse can become one mind in your relationship. Your differences don't have to divide you. They can become the bridge that brings you closer together.
Please remember that you are all brilliant, made in the image of a brilliant God. Genesis 1:26 says that we are made in His image. So He is brilliant, you are brilliant. Turn to your wife, turn to your husband and say, listen, I can understand every word she says because you and I, we're both brilliant. Okay, so and you're also a neuroplastician. Did you know you're a neuroplastician? You have an honorary doctorate in neuroplastics because you are able to change your own brain. Neuro means brain, plastic means to change. You are designed to change your own brain. You see, we control our brain does not control us. We live in a world where we're told that well, you know what, your genetic code and this and genes and your past and everything determine who we are, but the stamps of your past do not determine your future unless you choose to let them determine your future. Being spirit, soul, body, what we need to recognize is that with our soul realm, which is our intellect, will, and our emotions, we are actually influencing how our body functions, and we are influencing our spiritual development, and that applies in a relationship. So how you react to each other, how you react to the events and circumstances of your daily life in your relationships actually changes your brain. At the end of the day, a man tends to go inside his head and a woman tends to go outside her head. So we think externally and with lots of words and emotions, and men think internally. And generally at the end of the day is when we are processing all the things that have been happening during the day, and a man's going inside his cave, you've heard of that concept, and a woman's coming totally outside of her cave, and that is where you can have a lot of conflict. And I remember at the beginning of our marriage looking at Mac and saying, what's wrong? And then he'd say, nothing's wrong. I'd say, but something's wrong. Look at your face. You know, and there was nothing wrong. It was me assuming that he was thinking something. Meanwhile, he was just processing the day. And so all these little misunderstandings can build. And the first 6 months of marriage is where a lot of really bad habits can build. And our relationships go through these phases. Now, when you first fall in love, there's this huge neurochemical rush. And obviously it's spiritual too. But remember, God made everything. So God gives you spirit, your soul, your body. So this whole spiritual mind thing in a relationship has a physical representation. So we have all this chemical rush and all this incredible electrical chemical stuff going on. You process each other and you literally are drawn to each other by these different chemicals and electromagnetic forces literally that God has designed to attract us to each other. When we get married and we have sex, we actually then literally are building each other inside each other's head. So as you are forming that relationship, as you are intimate with each other, you're growing each other networks inside of your head. And daily, as you reach out and say, I love you and thank you, or you may be on the negative side, you are adding branches to those networks inside of your head. You determine what those connections look like. But we have this stuff, we are inside each other's head, and we need to grow that like we need to have a relationship daily. It's a daily thing that we have to keep building onto these networks. So those patterns that you know that you saw your mother and your father and you see yourself doing, you do not have to stay in there. You do not have to stay bound in those reactions. You can wipe them out. If you've made bad decisions and you've now woken up in your marriage and you see your kids doing these things, speak over them, because as you speak, it's an impulse that goes in the brain. It's a signal that generates in the brain, and you can go in and you can destroy and say, it's not going beyond this generation. You can wipe out that negativity. You speak over them.
Well, this program is on Becoming One Mind from our Becoming One seminar. And Dr. Caroline Leaf is just brilliant. I mean, she is so good. And we have some questions from our viewers, Karen. The first one is for you. And this is a woman. She's saying, I'm very disillusioned with my marriage. My needs aren't getting met, and I'm not happy. How do you have a positive mindset when you feel this way?
I think this is probably what most women go through at some point in their marriage. And, you know, the first thing that comes to my thoughts as I was reading or having you read that is I was thinking, there's a deception in our marriages that someone said that you're supposed to make me happy. And I can't depend on Jimmy to make me happy, because he's going to have good days and bad days, you know. And so I think that, first of all, scratch that from your thinking. I mean, you should get your joy from the Lord. You should get your joy from who you are in God and who God is to you, and what you can give to others. Get joy by serving. Get joy and be happy by giving out of yourself. But to put that on someone, it's just, you're never going to be happy, because it's just not realistic. And I know so many of us have been guilty of that, so don't feel bad. But the other thing is, when Jimmy, if he's having bad times and I need to be respectful that he's going to have some bad days, because I'm going to have some bad days too, and if I'm being in a bad mood, and I want some grace, when I'm in a bad mood, how much have I given him grace for when he's in a bad mood? And so, always look at this from the perspective of, we're not here to make each other happy. We're here to serve, to love, to give, to get outside of, and raise a family. And so anyway, I hope that helps.
Well, I completely agree with that, Karen, and I think that unrealistic expectations lead us to a broken heart. And I think that in our culture, for the most part, we have the expectation that you're going to make me happy. That you have this magic inside you, that if you're being a good wife or you're being a good husband, that I'm going to be happy. Happiness comes from, I believe, two things. One is God, and the other one is a choice. Abraham Lincoln said, we're as happy as we make up our minds to be.
And being grateful, being thankful.
Absolutely. And so I think that your emotional state is not connected to your husband. But see, what happens is if I say you're supposed to make me happy and you're not making me happy, all of a sudden you become the problem. And I live my life with the belief that if you change, I would change.
You'd be happy.
I'm not a victim. I have the power to change right now, regardless of who changes around me. But see, when I become happy, I just change the marriage right
you
there.
make everybody else happy. I love being around happy people.
Well, and I release you from a responsibility that you shouldn't have in the first place. And now our marriage is free from the burden of that deception. So, but let me tell you something, that's the way I was. When we got married, I expected you to make me happy and to meet my needs and all those things. And a lot of our fights were based on the fact that I didn't feel like you were, when in fact, all the expectations I put on you were so unfair. Okay, so you've got a question for me.
Okay, Jimmy, my spouse rejects me for being different. It's difficult to keep trying repeatedly when my needs are being rejected.
Well, and I believe that's a man that's asking that question. But when you reject your spouse's needs, you reject them. And in other words, if I say to you, Karen, I need you to do this, and you say, oh, that's weird, who cares? Well, you just rejected me. But and our needs are different. You know, men need honor, sex, friendship with their wives, domestic support. Women need security, open and honest communication, non-sexual affection, leadership. Our needs are different. So when we get married, and he says she rejects my needs, okay, and how do I keep trying when she keeps rejecting me? Well, it's very demotivating. But I would say this: meet her needs. You know, in other words, it's kind of sounds like what he's doing is constantly asking her to do something, rather than the law of sowing and reaping. You know, if you sow into your spouse, you're going to reap from your spouse. And meet her needs, meet her needs, meet her needs. Well, let's say this: she's not going to mind you meeting her needs. She might mind you demanding that she meet your needs. But when you serve her, when you make her feel secure, talk to her, hold her, lead the family properly, and you're seeding into her. Now it's not about you and about you getting rejected. It's about you by faith sowing love into your spouse, believing you don't just reap what you sow, you reap where you sow. When you sow into your spouse, you're going to reap from your spouse.
Right.
So he's just, it sounds to me, of course I used to do it. I mean, that was the way I was, but it sounds to me like he's just kind of demanding something, getting his heart broken. And he said, well, I'm just going to go on down the road. Surely there's somebody down there that, you know, that will understand me. But the point is that it's really dysfunctional when, and I know he feels rejected, and I understand that. And his wife needs to be meeting his needs, and that's very important. But what I'm saying is that you're not a victim. You can serve by faith, you can sow by faith, and believing God to do that. And he will, Karen. I mean, you did that in our marriage. You know, I rejected you.
No, the wife doesn't want to feel like the only reason she's there is for the husband to, because he wants to be cooked for and clean the house. That's not what your marriage is about.
Right.
Your marriage is not about that. It's about the two of you becoming one.
Absolutely. Well, we hope that this is helpful for you today on becoming one and maybe getting rid of some issues that you need to deal with. God bless you. Watch this right here. I hope you're enjoying today's program. You know, Marriage Today with Jimmy and Karen, our television program, is broadcast into over 100 million homes every day, multiple times a day, across America, into over 200 countries worldwide. And this is a joy for us to be able to come to you and also go literally around the world, helping millions of people to understand marriage from God's perspective, from a biblical perspective, and to succeed and thrive in their marriage and family relationships rather than suffering the horrible tragedy of family breakup, which I know many of you have. And we only are able to do what we do because of our faithful financial supporters. And if this ministry has touched you, if you believe in what we're doing. You know, marriage is under attack, family is under attack, and we're on the front lines of the battle to raise a biblical standard for marriage and families, to stop the onslaught of divorce and family breakup, and to help our society literally to heal, and to help our children and grandchildren to have a better world by helping people understand marriage from a biblical perspective. Everyone can succeed in marriage. God never designs anything to fail, but we need to understand God's way for marriage, and that's exactly what we do here at Marriage Today. If you believe in what we're doing, would you please stand with us financially? I'm asking you to give your most generous financial gift right now. You can call the number that's there on your screen. You can send your gift in the mail. The address is right there on your screen. But also you can give on our secure website. Our web address is also there on your screen. I'm asking you right now, if you would, give your most generous gift. Nothing's too small, nothing's too large, but everything that you give equips us to go and reach more families, more couples, and to keep children together with their parents. Also, right now, you can become a monthly partner, and we have a special premium. That information is also there on your screen. Please stand with us financially. God bless you.
When you stand with Marriage Today, your individual effort multiplies with other like-minded partners, and together we can rebuild the dream of marriage for couples around the world. Being a rock-solid partner with Marriage Today grants you immediate access to an exclusive library of the ministry's resources and intimately connects you with our mission of helping couples succeed in marriage.
That's really why we became Rock Solid Partners, just because there was so much available to help us to help other marriages heal the way that we have.
That's why we're tied into the ministry. We want to be able to bless and give so they can keep doing what they're doing.
You're guaranteed if you listen to any of the resources, you read the resources, you come to a conference, you will be changed.
Everyone has something to give, and there are millions of unreached couples who desperately need the marriage-strengthening resources of Marriage Today. That's why we need you to join us. Become a rock-solid partner with the ministry and mission of Marriage Today.
Thank you for watching Marriage Today with Jimmy and Karen. Subscribe to Marriage Today's YouTube channel for more marriage-building videos and updates.